We are saying the anticipation Mass of the 14th, 11th Sunday of the year. So today is the 13th of June. And you know what feast it is today? I think all of you know very well. Saint Anthony of Padua. This saint fits today's gospel and the topic we have chosen, the spirituality of the heart. So beautiful. Saint Anthony of Padua, I don't know if you know the story. You know, I'll tell it to you again. He was working in the kitchen. He was like a lay brother working in the kitchen. And there happened to be a big occasion. I don't know if it was the last work of some brothers, Franciscan brothers, or some jubilee. Bishops had come, priests had come, but the preacher who was supposed to come didn't come. What reason was he got nervous or what, I don't know. And then the superior goes to the kitchen and he sees Anthony. And the superior has noticed that Brother Anthony was always very prayerful. So he said, Anthony, go to the pulpit and preach. And he said, I? And today on this occasion, you're asking me to preach? Yes, go and say whatever the Spirit tells you. The rest, my dear brothers and sisters, is history. Anthony was taken out of the kitchen and was asked to go and preach all over France and Italy. And you know something? Saint Anthony of Padua, who was a citizen or a local from Lisbon, he died at the young age of 35 or 36 in 1231 AD. 1231 AD, Anthony died. 32 years later, 1263, they exhumed his body. And what do you think they found? They found skeleton, all skeleton, except his tongue. His tongue was fresh as ever. His tongue was pink and absolutely fresh. The whole tongue was found in that coffin. What God was telling the world was, this tongue of Anthony was so precious because he praised and glorified me through his preaching. And therefore, I have done this favor of keeping that tongue precious and alive. Even today, I think it is somewhere. I'm not sure where. Recently, I had been to Lisbon, and it was possibly weekend, maybe Tuesday, I'm not sure. They were giving a relic of St. Anthony to be kissed, to be consolated myself, and give a prayer. But this man is just lucky, by the way, I want to bear this spontaneous. This man really lived a spirituality of the heart. Ignatian spirituality is a spirituality of the heart. What does it mean? You know, we are normally stuck up in the head, on the intellect. Very rarely do we come down to the level of feeling. And St. Ignatius, through his spiritual exercises, wanted to transform the whole person. And therefore, when a man went through the spiritual exercises, which usually the whole spiritual exercises is one of 30 days, my dear brothers and sisters, 30 days, maybe you have a break of half a day somewhere. I have made two of these exercises, one as a novice and one as a tertiary. 30-day retreat. And in that retreat, his view is that you must be transformed from within, completely. All your feelings, etc., you must be transformed so that you are a new person. Have you ever had the experience, of being infatuated with someone? Ever had an experience of having fallen in love and being infatuated with somebody? When that happens, a person, a young man or a young woman, can't think of anything else but the person that he or she loves. That person is always not in the head, in the heart. He cannot or she cannot think of anyone else or anything else except that person. And so many fantasies go on with that person simply because the person has, I can't say fallen in love, because fallen in love is something quite different, is infatuated with that person. And therefore, that person becomes the center of this person's heart. If I'm infatuated with someone, that person has become the center of my heart. All my thoughts, my moments, my waking moments are all thinking about this person. St. Ignatius wants each one of us to be infatuated with God, with Jesus, and with His values. To be so full of God, of Jesus, and the values of love, service, and forgiveness that spontaneously this comes out in my speech and in my behavior. I don't have to even think about it. Very spontaneously, I'm so full of Jesus and of His values that I am ready to love, serve, forgive anybody at any time. So Ignatius' exercises focuses on transforming the heart, not the intellect. And the heart means our deepest desires, our commitments, our orientation. And Ignatius wants this orientation to be always to God. For Ignatius, everything was for the greater glory of God. Not only for the glory of God, for the greater glory of God. What is important? What will I choose? I will choose where I can give God greater glory. That action, that thing I will choose. Only because I want to please God more. And true spirituality, true Ignatian spirituality is changing the whole person from within. Let us, my dear brothers and sisters, pray very especially for this grace